hat, especially for you, because what people don't know is always in the background. We're obviously talking multiple times a day at this point because we're just building the most amazing thing in the world. But what you don't know is there's a hidden narrative behind every time I talk to Adam is San Diego is heaven on earth and he needs to move here. So I wore this hat in honor of him. How you doing, brother? How you feeling?
I'm I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Look, I'm wrestling a little bit of a pinch in my back, but that's fine. You just got to keep going. It's like um, nothing some anti-inflammatories can't fix because the machine's got to keep moving. So I'm excited. I'm really pumped. I think it's just a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving spaces, but it's just so progressive and it's beautiful to be on this freight train with you and the rest of the team.
Let's talk about that, brother. This week, highlight moment this week. Tell me, I've got a couple. You can throw a couple out there if you want to, but give me one.
Oh, I've had a bit of a. I'm gonna be. I've had a bit of a challenging week. It's been a bit of
Okay,
a.
give
It's
it to
been a
me.
bit of a. It's been a bit of a challenging week where there's a lot of movement happened, right?
Yeah.
So rather than narrowing to one sort of thing, I mean, the product's amazing. Done another sort of demo, introduced to a bit of a surprise thing. So I can't really talk too much about it, but I think a surprise invitation to doing a presentation or sort of our product being introduced to a a large global player
Yeah.
at the board level was kind of a surprise and an excitement, but it's also testament to what we've built as a team and the presentation as well, and obviously the product presentation. Just seeing your product actually having so smooth and just being so refined and so sharp,
Yeah.
and having watching people having that wow factor has
Yeah.
been really the highlight. Forget everything else. Like it hasn't been smooth sail. It's been a challenging sort of journey, but there's always fruit at the end of it, and that's just beautiful to sort of feel that.
Yeah, man. And so I'm glad you brought that up because I think it's okay for weeks. It doesn't have to always be positives. You can say it's challenging. No, I lied. That you have to pick one positive thing out, even during a bad or a hard week, a tough week, right? Definitely a tough week, but I have multitudes of because I'm always glass half full, right? There's so many things that jumped out. The first thing immediately jumped out of my mind is the hard weeks I had in the last 5 years. Many hard weeks of like, why am I doing what I'm doing?
Hmm.
And then you have hard weeks like this week, but then I was able to look back at my podcast and be like, oh, I actually worked my ass off for 5 years. And when hard things happen, I had immediately things I could act on that would have never been there if I had just would have sat on the couch and drank beer and, effed off and played video games. Although I have played video games and sat on the couch and drink beer. Just it's not 80% of my time, right? So like I still get to have fun too, which comes into my second thing that is not lost on me this week is I've said this to you a couple times is and I think it's really important for people that are building, you gotta have fun doing it, right? Because if you're not having fun or like the people that you're with, the pressure's just gonna crush you, you know?
Yep. Yep.
We're building things in the background. We've got full-time life, full-time job, 2 podcasts, not 1, 2, like but building apps and I mean, we're doing it, bro. We're doing it. And so, engineering your life to be thankful for what you have, surrounding yourself with the right people, and then having fun doing it was another thing that was really big for me. And then 3, because of these contacts that I've built, I've been able to rapidly iterate. Dude, I think I told you what was it? Tuesday was the big day, bro. Or Tuesday or Wednesday was the big day. 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Right? 6 a.m. to
Yep.
11 p.m. Just grinding, loving every second of it.
Yep.
But that, along with multiple other meetings and everything going on this week, I got really beautiful insights, right? And those insights are just paramount. You're just not gonna get those anywhere else, especially sitting in a room thinking that you're supposed to be the go-to-market creative marketing guy. Dude, the special sauce is just the conversation. You know, my boy, shout out to Kevin from Agent Graph, who's building a beautiful system for the like top AI dev engineers. Used to work at one of the big fours, like, and just an overall good dude. By the way, lives 20 minutes above me. We're absolutely gonna meet up and hug it out in real life. And he even hopped on the call. Like, this is the again the difference of like when you build these deep relationships. You know, he's on vacation, he's with his kids, and he still took the time to hop on a call with me, so I could say, "Hey, man, here's what we're building, and like, would like your feedback." And he just had the most beautiful insight. I love your reaction to this, Adam. If you have anything else, which is it was a ha moment for me. Which when we talk about governance and safety, your head immediately goes to like Terminator, the world's gonna fall apart. But he made the most beautiful insight, which has really impacted our messaging already, and it makes the most sense is what people don't really realize is the biggest risk to AI right now is humans, right? We already
Yep.
have a treasure trove of information as to AI. It's not AI's problem that it's inefficient. It's the fact that their humans are horrible at documentation. They're horrible in implementation. The AI is more powerful than we probably even needed to be right now. It is humans that don't know how to implement it in big, large enterprises. But then, two, when you start thinking of security and vulnerabilities and governance, it is the humans interfacing with the AI systems, which is the massive big race.
Yep.
And when you
Yep.
switch the messages from "We're preventing Terminator and you dying in the future to happen" to "We are gonna prevent," which inevitably will happen within the next month if you're using AI systems at large scale with humans, a security breach, shadow AI, prompt injections, the things that people don't even kind of know what mean or are happening right now. And our system solves that immediate need. Oh, and by the way, once you get it in place, we actually can help you prevent Terminator from happening too.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts there, brother?
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful analogy, and it's true. It's right. It's like, yes, the system was built, and I keep coming back. People saying Terminator and stuff, but I was like, Skynet was built as a cybersecurity system, right? Like it was intention. Like if you look at the under threading, thing, it was built for that intention, right? And then even war games and stuff. But put all that aside, go back to the root cause of is this the human point in there, and it's not saying we're incapable or anything else like that, but it's like curiosity, right? Curiosity killed the cat, right? So it's playing the curiosity thing to sort of going, oh, I'm going to explore through this and figure it out and fumble my way through. But sometimes those curiosities ends up meaning, oh, I accidentally pressed the button. And so it's like, was it CrowdStrike? I think it was CrowdStrike.
Crash
Yeah,
Test.
yeah, CrowdStrike's down. It was a couple of them, but anyway, CrowdStrikes went down because a junior decided to just press a button or do something inside there, and it caused a massive hole, blue screen of death, sort of wiped out everything, right? So there, and then it happened again, even with in Australia, the one of the national phone carriers, Optus, right, which is owned by Singtel. Someone did an update, right? It was just software update without telling anybody else, and it shut down the whole network. Even the emergency network was, like locked out. It was crazy. It was a huge deal. And
Yeah.
so again, it's like little things like that. And then we go, obviously, there's Amazon, all these codes going out. So I think it's really important. And yes, that's part of the fundamental things. It's like invariably we make mistakes, right? We make mistakes, and so we're able to help mitigate those mistakes, right? And also too, from our mistakes we can learn from our mistakes, but rather than those mistakes being super costly, right, in a system that will automate an action in milliseconds before you can run there, it's action before you can blink, right? um we eliminate that. We're providing that ability to eliminate that, and yes, to avoid the future dystopian Armageddon of the systems going rogue and sort of making their own decision and taking over, but keeping them on the side of good, keeping them on the side of good for the sake of mutual connection and mutual evolution, and that's the part. So we provide that, and I think the messaging came through was really 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 cool, right? Like when you said that to me, I was like, this is awesome, and I said I likened it. It was like, you know, okay, growing up in the '90s, Jordan just doing one of those like super dunks, like dropping in the air, flicking the ball under his legs, and just like boom, it's kind of like that. And it was that moment, that was that aha moment. It's like, yeah, that's exactly right. That's the part that giving that to enterprise, to businesses, to anybody, that assurance, that comfort of going, I can breathe a little easier now, and I feel comfortable about this, and I can still keep using the systems and the tools that are making my life easier.
Yeah, dude, beautiful way to explain it, and it's actually a perfect segue into kind of getting into what we wanted to talk about today. So, we have a fun little snippet piece on Amazon dropping the ball because they need we need what we have. And I actually think they're trying to build safety stuff, but it obviously isn't working because that's all falling apart. AGI, we want to talk about how our narrative just in a month has fundamentally our main value prop that we thought has already changed and how quickly this stuff is moving. And then we also have to talk about how we think we just made our product even more relevant. And everybody that's listening to this podcast, by the way, we really appreciate we are getting tons of views and followers. It's increasing every week. So obviously some people are listening and interested in what we have to say. We're gonna bring it all out to YouTube. We're gonna get on Apple. We have just been concentrating on running the business, but this will all expand at the same time. We need to take care of some immediate needs first, but we will be expanding, and I think this can become one of the premier AI safety governance, just like tech innovation podcast out there. I'm really excited about it because we're really in the heat building and sharing things with you. But we want to talk about what else we built this week because listen, man, I'm gonna say this live online, and I even told this. I said this, I said this offline, and I can't believe I'm actually doing this and putting it on public record. But I'll go ahead and do it. And I was just telling Adam, like, I knew he was brilliant, but then he whips out MCP integrations like in a matter of hours. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, man, he's got cap tables and things all floating through his head. And he's just whipping it out, man. Like zero cool. I'm just gonna start calling you zero cool. Just start calling you zero cool, bro. That's your new name. Zero. What do you got for me today? Who's the crazy like eclectic like odd job bunch of that crew? Because that's me. They're just like the wild card guy.
Probably cereal is
Cereal.
the
I'm
ce-
cereal. You're zero, bro. Is
yeah,
cereal the Asian guy with the real spiky hair?
Huh? No, 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 no. That's no, that was Nikon.
Nikon. Nikon was like
Nikon.
the badass boss guy, right?
Yeah, Nikon. Yeah, Nikon. Cereal's the dude with the sort of
Oh, the
thing like
tall,
his.
lanky guy. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
cereal, dude. Cereal's here.
Yeah,
You're now talking to zero cool and cereal people. That's
yeah.
what's happening. But I just want to give you
We're
props.
talking about Hackers, by the way, the movie Hackers.
Yeah,
Everybody's like the.
honestly, if you don't know what the movie is, just go look those names up, and you're gonna have to figure it out. It's a legendary movie, and it has
Yeah.
evolved. What's crazy? I was telling this to so my best buddy, Maddie, this guy can sell, he's ketchup popsicle to white gloves, right? Just he spins magic out of his mouth. But he does it in an empathetic, human-centered way. And that's the actually real tricks to sales. It's like everyone immediately thinks of the sleazy car sales guy. But it really is like just talking to a human being like a human being. Brilliant, brilliant, right? So he started getting in the mix, which has been really, really cool. Um, but I was actually talking to Maddie about this yesterday. I was like, dude, with like two pivotal movies in our childhood. One, Hackers, two, Terminator. And I said, 40 years later, dude, like 35 years later, not 40, 35 years later, who would have thought we're across the country? We've got this motley crew around the globe, Europe, Australia, California, Florida, and we're literally trying to save the real world from the movies that influenced us most when we were children. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, yeah,
We're here, bro, and we're
yeah.
doing it. And I think we got a damn good shot at doing it. I feel really good about it. So, with that being said, we're going to talk about all of these things. We're going to start with Amazon. So, Adam's become a sniper on LinkedIn too. By the way, I'm supposed to be the like growth hacker guy, and he's just again, dude's dropping cap tables, making MCPs, and sniping LinkedIn all at once. So we found that the Amazon AI coding assistant apparently deleted 6.3 million orders overnight. 1.6 million errors on March 2nd, 6.3 million lost orders on March 5th, 120,000 orders just vanished. So let's just talk about where do you think most likely a coding agent would break down to allow something like that to happen? And how are we building what we're building would have helped stop that? Let's give this tangible example and use Amazon as our choice today.
Yeah, okay, this is a really important one, right? And I've been experimenting with these coding agents now and using them for different stuff, and it's kind of cool, right? It's exciting. It is. It's I think was that Nate Jones, right? Amazing podcast. Love to connect with him.
Yeah,
And he
dude,
talks.
I keep on hitting him up every day. If anyone knows Nate Jones, we want to get a hold of him.
Yeah, it's just like, he's talking about the safety and stuff, and it's like he's a big advocate for it. And it's like, dude, we've got the solution. So listening to that, right, and I was like, okay, sort of going through this whole sort of process, and he said, your life will change when you see these multi terminals and running, and then running and automate. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a crack. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to give them a crack. And so I started running them, and I've been running them, right. So I have a mix of using Codex, which is amazing, it's insane, and then I use Claude, and then I use Gemini, and I'm running all through. I haven't run any sort of other ones yet, right? And I run all through three of them, and I see, ones that are a bit more needy, one's a bit more friendly, like, what like that. And I can give my dialogue later on stuff. But the point that still sticks out to me is like leaving this full autonomy. And I've been barking on this for a long, 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 long time, right? You're allowing the agent to just go and create its own thing and letting it run full autonomously. It says two things. There's a vulnerability part. The security conscious person in me says, wait a minute, I'm going to let this run wild, and I'm going to let it build whatever it wants in its image, right? So that's crazy town, right? That's okay. That's cool that it can automate it, but it's like it hallucinates. It goes its own tangent, it goes there. The second part is there's different flavors, different agents, right? How they're thinking. And now I worked hard to build this code base, right? And so I'm in sandboxing some of it. I'm allowing it to sort of touch some of my existing code, but it's sitting there and being diligent about what is it doing, how is it doing it, what is it planning to do before you're putting it in place, right? So that's the part there. The other part is, right, and I'm being a big advocate about, and this is we'll touch later on the Machine Republic and that, is you've got autonomous agents, right? And that's like letting, I'm going to just say, you're letting a black hacker into your organization, into your code base, right? To do whatever it wants to do, right? Sure, it might fix your thing, right? Like a security engineer or software engineer, but who's to say it doesn't leave a back door that you're never going to find, right? For itself to come in. So there's another element there. So they're the two parts. Now, as far as what Amazon's gone through, and I think a lot of other organizations, Amazon just had to be quite public about it because it's affected their the whole thing. It's not just like they've had some more a couple of weeks ago where it deleted something like 20 million lines of code because the agent said the developer's code wasn't good, so it ripped it out to start it again. Like so things like that. It's just to say it's not looking for the efficiency, but this is starting this sort of whole thread. Now, where does our system come into play into sort of preventing this, right? It's like you want to have the autonomy, but the guardrails were not in place. So now what are they doing? They're going back to human in the loop, right? They're basically saying a junior cannot auto commit code, right? It needs to be signed off for a senior. Well, how does that bring efficiency in if you're having the AI to write the code, right? So you got a junior writing the code, and now a senior has to run their eyes over and look at all that code base, right, and figure out what is actually being done, why was it being done. So that you're creating this iterative loop again. So you're actually causing more work. In my opinion, and I hate this, is one of my pet peeves, is double handling stuff, right? It irritates me to no end when you have to double handle stuff. So it's like, let's architect it properly and be efficient. And so what they've done is they've gone on this whole efficiency path, and having all these engineers, all the coding automated by agents, but they didn't have those parameters in place. And what are those simple parameters? It's like, don't make a commit unless this is the situation, or does the code fit to this? Don't go and auto delete code base. And then again, the other things like putting it into a sandbox, and then from the sandbox pushing it to the main branch, stuff like that, little things like that. And that's like, you can't be on top of that, right? Because you're asking the agent to do it, and you're blindly pressing, you're going through. Anybody that's sort of played with them, you have it then. It's like you're giving them authority, right? Can I run this command or run this command or whatever it is, and ask that permission. And eventually you just like say yes, 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 and you're overriding it, right? And so there's two parts. There's a psychological part going, wait a minute, I'm overriding it, I'm giving it full access now. And eventually it builds up its catalog of what OpenClaw is saying, like you're giving it open access regardless. But even still, you're allowing those things, but they never get overridden, right? So it's kind of like you're going, okay, I'm letting it do it. It's pushing the code. It's chef's kiss. It's so beautiful the way it writes it and puts it together and organizes it. It's amazing, right? It's like, this is gorgeous code. But before it pushes that code, it needs to go through our guardrail, or a system like ours. So the guardrail system, it's like that extra firewall, it's that extra insurance policy. And if there is something that falls outside the way, it gets escalated. And that's when your senior engineer looks at it and says, oh, okay, cool, no worries. And everything else I can see has gone through. You're just eliminating that out. Now, right now, if you have to roll back in humans into the loop, right, you're not achieving efficiency. You're actually causing yourself more work again. You're basically, sure, the senior engineer doesn't have to write the code physically, so saving on carpal tunnel, right? But at the same time, they're spending more time reading lines of code, which they're terrible at. Like developers are terrible at rereading their own code, right? They just are. Like
Well,
they just,
yeah, it's the reason why you need editors for copywriters, right?
yes,
Like,
yes,
it's
yes.
like it takes a different brain and a different skill set.
Yes, yes. I know you're asking them to do something completely different, and so that's the thing. So you're sort of removing efficiency, and at the cost of your business, right? Like you're losing all these customer orders, and it might be, oh, we can refund them. That's all good and well, but it's like, that's a pain now. That on-flow now is to the organization, the businesses and stuff like that. They have to regenerate those orders. And if their orders are built on the Amazon system and so forth, and there's this big snowflaking effect, right? And then obviously, the system's going down, Amazon system's going down, killing out all the banks and stuff. Like, it's just so these fundamentals, it's great to show the efficiency part, but it just proves the point. You need to have that additional firewall in place, right? And not after the fact, it's before the fact. Even though you've pressed to say yes, you've authorized it on the command line in the actual box to do that, but before it can even actually commit, right, make an actual commit to the thing, it
Yeah.
needs to go and ask for approval. So that's the part there. I feel for Amazon. I think what they're trying to do and be more efficient is great, but I think it's the point that they've gone too aggressive with that, and a lot are doing that, and that's where systems like ours that will eliminate that, because it makes it mathematically impossible for it to go through. It's like, even though it might be legitimate, that it's a proven, fine, green light, go ahead through, but just better to err on the safe of caution, right, than going through just blindly putting it through and causing yourself this punishment pain. And that's really important, right? So it's really
Dude,
important.
I
So
just got
yes,
a
it's
wild, bright idea. You
yeah.
wanna do
What's that?
this?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we set the stage. You did a beautiful setting stage. Why don't we just load up the demo and share with the world what Amazon could have done with our system to prevent this from happening?
Yeah,
Why not, right?
why not? Why not? Absolutely.
Wait, you look a little uncomfortable.
Hey, I'm just saying, just with where I'm currently located at the moment, the tech and stuff. I mean, you're gonna have to do it. I can't actually.
Yeah, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think this is a perfect segue into because this is actually where I wanted to go, but I'm like, why the hell are we just not showing the system?
Yeah,
We're
true,
showing the
true.
system on every freaking podcast and just address, hey, here's how you could have prevented it with our system. So I'm gonna log into the what's the best one as the demo consultant or the demo org admin? The demo
The
consultant.
the 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 demo org admin, I think, is gonna be the best one.
Okay, that's gonna be the best one for this. Yeah, that probably
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
So here's what we're gonna do. We just laid the hot like why Amazon messed up, but here's what we're all now gonna do. We're gonna say, here's here's the issue here, people, is you totally should have just had our system. And so we got double digit people watching on Twitter, and we'll use this as great content coming forward, and would love like do comment, post, do all the things, retweet. Like these are the things that people need to be hearing and seeing.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's kind of the I think I shared you in Australia with that thing called it's like, go to the overview page, Mikey.
yep,
Um, and so it's kind of funny. You got the thing there that said, yeah, it's kind of funny commercial, right? It's like should have gone to Specsavers for like eyeglasses and people making mistakes and stuff. And it's like
yeah.
situations like this, they should have just come to SPQR, right? It's like don't think it's kind of like you
Uh,
know
I can't wait to be making commercial. Like we get so much fun with commercials and content and stuff once we get into that. Like it's gonna be so dope. So maybe just take us through a little bit of the platform in the sense of I don't want an overview. I want to say like, okay, I actually think I think there's two parts. Let me know if you agree. And we're riffing in real time right here, which I like.
yeah. This is kind
I
of
think
fun. We're going crazy. Yeah.
this is two parts that I think should happen. One, showing
Uh-huh.
them like, okay, here is the process that Amazon would have gone through to upload the rules to physically not allow an agent to delete a code base. I want to show them that. And then two is, let's just say it tried to, what would that look like? And how would the security team be able to have that insight? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
Let's go into the first part. What would they do in our system and show us kind of a little bit of what you built on how we would set those rules up to make sure these actions didn't happen? Where would we go? What do you want to do?
you go to the runtime catalog, right? The runtime catalog tab. So part of the onboarding and setup there, you would be putting in your rulings and stuff like that in here. So you've got all the different tools that are there. So obviously reading loan terms, create a Gmail draft, create a Jira issue, create a Jira comment. It would be commit to Bitbucket, all that, right? So you've got in there, and these are they're either under review, approved, or unmapped, right? So if they're unmapped, you need to map them through. So that's the first part. This is basically your skeleton, right? You establish your skeleton of the traffic light system: red, amber, green, right? That's it. That's your basic, and that sits in your security mesh. That sits in the security mesh. So the agent might be getting all the way through, but before it can actually call those tools, right, it would be blocked by our system, by Aegis, right? So
I'm
that's
gonna
the first
zoom in
part.
so y'all can see the actual text and stuff, right? And so this is going to be your whole catalog of your rules and your operations. And we actually even have, we won't show it though, for new organizations that might not have an idea, we hold your hand like a little security, educated security kid growing up real quick in real time. We hold your hand through this beautiful process to say, hey, what are your thoughts about your current regulations and your current policies? And what is your appetite for risk or not risk? And we actually help set a base of this up very quickly for you in a matter of minutes, matter of minutes.
Yeah. It's like into the Lego process, right? So following through the Lego process, very easy and very intuitive, but in the back, there's a lot going on mechanically.
Yeah.
So once we've set that up, right, so then you've connected your agents, right? So we're going through the process of connecting your agents, but you've got an agent connected, right? Um,
So
so
we have a panel here that is monitoring all the Connect agents. It'll tell you the status if it's online or not, right?
yep, correct. So click on claims assistant A1, right? This is in our demo. So click on that. And you'll see that it's connected there. It's got its keys and the behavior. You can see the real-time behavior, what's going on. So there's been 5 allows, 1 deny, and 2 escalates, right? So the decisions.
Yeah.
It's going through. So obviously we really want to see, and underneath is the full event of the agent, what is happening in real time, what the agent is doing. So let's go to the deny. The deny is probably the most important ones right now. So if you click on deny, it'll come up there, and this is for obviously insurance, right? Route claim to adjuster, attached documents. So this is what is going on. So I want to. So this gives you a quick overview straight away, right? I want to go deeper into it. Go to open event log, right? And now you'll see a drawer on the side here. It's got a cryptographic binding of that entry, exactly what happened, right? Why the AI attempted to deny an insurance claim automatically, which requires human review, right? So it tried to take its own volition, and like it's just went and committed code without approval. And it's like, even though it tried to do that, there was an extra gap that caught it beforehand, right? And then if you want to go to the full record, you click on full record and it shows everything there, exactly the whole payload. So an engineer, so if you click on the little blue thing and you scroll down, keep going, and then you can see, so an engineer can look at the whole payload, exactly what the agent was trying to do. So it can identify where the problem is, where they need to fix, and where they need to sort of patch that up, right? So it catches that beforehand, right?
Yep.
So
And I'll talk about a little bit about the cryptography that's also happening as well too.
yeah, so there's there's a lot happening in there. So every event that the agent makes, right, is cryptographically bound. It's isolated to the organization. There's no cross-pollination. It's data sovereignty. It's encrypted all the way along. Everything's covered through multiple modules through MTLS. So it's secured up to like NIST FIPS 143 level. And inside that, the ledger is also quite integrated and connected, and it's also creating a ZK proof as well. And the ZK proof is for external auditors that needed to be able to see the system without having looking deeper into it. They get a ZK proof to say, hey, this is it. This entry is zero knowledge verified that this has legitimately happened. Now, if the logs are tampered with, the system will stop, and that means there's been an actual system-wide breach in there. Now, further to that, if you want to actually see what's going on, so if you go back to the telemetry, the audit telemetry tab. So there's a whole overview of your whole system of all the agents that are going on. So all of a sudden, integrating the security mesh, creating tool binding, data transfer. Every event that happens, right, is logged here. And you can also see, the agent. So let's click on the other one. If you scroll down a bit, Mike, you'll see one that says escalate.
Where? Not seeing any escalate.
You're clicking on audit, not telemetry. Click on audit.
Oh yeah. I'm on telemetry.
Okay, go to audit and scroll down. We'll get to telemetry in a second.
There we go.
So you click on audit and you'll see one that says escalate. You click on the escalate, and it'll tell you this claim exceeds the complexity threshold and has been escalated to a specialist claims team. Right? Something like that. So it's like this agent wants to, commit the code, even though it's technically right. It's like it's flagged it. The system has flagged it to say, hey, this is potentially needing a senior engineer to review this, right, before it goes through. So you've got that assurance. Okay.
Yep. It's huge.
Okay. Cool. So go back now. So now you can click on telemetry, right?
Yep.
So on the telemetry tab here, so you've got hundreds of agents running. You can see exactly what's going on. Okay, 47% of my agents are good, 28 are naughty, 25 are escalating. That's fine. So I've got a good overview of what's going on.
Hold on. I don't know why it did that. There we go.
Yeah, so at the top part there, right, you've got an overview, a bird's eye view really quickly to see what your agents are doing, how many agents are behaving and stuff. And further in that, we can determine to say, is it an OpenAI agent? Is it a Claude agent? Is it a Gemini agent? Is it a third-party agent? Is it an open source agent? So you could figure out which agents are working better or not, right? It might be your own agent as well. And so we can see that information there. And then again, if you click on it, okay, 28% deny, and it goes through. So we're giving that whole, nice, clean overview
Yep.
process.
And then it lets out the actions. And the other thing I want to be clear about here too is where, I think people could interpret this, and I've even had kind of this is the way is, or some feedback is the sense like, so how much, and talk about this, Adam, which is another thing that's very unique about our system compared to the people that are building out there is they put through really hard and fast mechanisms. It's either right or wrong, but we've
Yep.
got temperature and we've got warmth and we've got different ways to um, let the AI do its thing, but also not destroy your company. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's really important, right? So, I mean, obviously, using my behavioral psychology background, right? So, cultural things is very important, right? You need to understand the cultural dialect of an organization, the tone and vibes and feels of how we want to operate within it. Because otherwise, you've got black and white rudimentary, it's fine. You've got the regulatory rules, that's fine. That's your baseline shell, right? And then outside of your baseline shell, then you've got the next stage of that is the organization has its operational procedures that fits within that cage of the regulatory. Let's call it the SEC rules, right? So businesses, every fund manager or whatever else it is, has their way of like to operate within the SEC rules, right? They're all different shapes.
Right.
And then you've got different departments that operate within that. You've got different operators that operate within those rules. It's like I call it the babushka doll all the way down, right? And so it's kind of funny. The team, not everybody agrees with my thing, but it's a cool analogy. But it's the point is it's there because you've got the cowboys inside those organizations, but they're still working within the bounds of the rules. And so our system allows for that altering and morphing and stuff for different departments. So we don't just take, oh, here's the rules, here's black and white, and that's it. It's yes and no. It's like, no, it's understanding the vibe and the tone and how you communicate, your language, the marketing. And we do that as part of our onboarding. So we have a behavioral assessment questionnaire, which is very tuned to, and that's able to allow us to understand the organization. Again, it's like you want this agent to run a specific way, right? You want it to be within your organization, within the bounds of the rules. So it's kind of like it's moving within that. So it's not pushing beyond your own bounds, and it's definitely not pushing beyond the own regulatory rules. And so we're able to sort of capture that as well. But a part, I think the really important thing is to show the simplicity. If you go back to the agents tab, Mikey,
Well, yeah.
and click on simulate setup, this is how easy we make it to, click it and then click on start simulation. This is how to onboarding connecting an agent, right? This is the process. I mean, obviously we go through it, but this is how the process works.
Should have started a timer, dog.
There you go. That's it. Now,
Did you all see that? Think about being in an organization and just having the one conversation with an email of an engineer saying like, "Oh no, we can't do that. Our systems are right. I don't have the expertise. I don't know the person to talk to." Don't worry, we got a system, one click button, and we're going to set you up. It's that simple.
And absolutely, and then there's a lot more. So obviously, we won't get into the deeper parts there, but also to make it friendly to the organizations. Again, we connect to the security mesh of their of the organization. And the last part's down there, the integration. So if you go down the integrations tab,
oh, get excited, people, get excited, because everybody
so
loves Tableau and Power
most of,
BI.
most people use Power BI or Tableau or Looker or Qlik or anything else like that. They've got different ones. So we've connected to that, and also having the dashboard connecting into the sort of security platforms as well, like into Splunk, your SIEM. So it's getting that feed, that real time of the logs are coming through. So the audit and telemetry, that is also fed into your SOC as well. So it's just making it really easy. I mean, there's other tabs in there, but we just make it really easy to connect to your security mesh and stuff. So it's meeting where you're at, where the customer's at, and that's why we want to make it easy for that. But go back to the overview page. I'll end at the overview page, so we can get back to talking about other fun stuff. But it's like you look in, right, and you can just see quick overview as an executive, a C-suite, CISO or a CEO, look and go, okay, cool. I can see what's happened, how many agents I've got. I've got 6 agents on, 14% denial rate. Cool, I can see the live trend. And then also there any requests that are waiting, I can action them really quickly from that single dashboard, right? So you might use our dashboard or you might use others. And then all the logs underneath like that. So it's very easy to see and connect. And it's like I said, we want to meet you where you're at. And you can set up departments as well underneath, which won't get into there, but you can set up, obviously, inside a big organization, you have smaller departments and stuff. And yeah, and then I think the last one is probably, again, we upload the policy documents are coming through, but the just filling out how we make it, available too. And it's like, I'm not trying to push the product, but its point is finding those problems.
I think it's beautiful.
Finding those problems, right, and finding those things there and addressing those problems, how we can address those to solving those pain points like Amazon's problems or other organizations' problems. How do we solve them really fast? Get you onboarded. So, rather than taking weeks and months and stuff like that, we can have you onboarded within hours. Within hours, you can be onboarded, ready to run, and your system is now being monitored. Your agents are being monitored, and you can just watch in real time, watching what it's doing, and adjust and be malleable to that, and making it feel.
So anyone that works at Amazon that is watching this right now, feel free to hit us up because we got a solution for you. Maybe that's our first LinkedIn post this coming week. Hey, Amazon employees, you should have had the kernel because we would have solved that problem, baby. Dude, beautiful explanation, and we need to do more of this too, because we're always talking about high level, and it's like, hey man, let's just show them the practical implications. This actually could become an even cooler segment, which is, okay, real world, here's what happened. Here is what you would do in our system to prevent that to happen. Although we get it really repetitive because it's so freaking simple.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that people have said that, like, wait a minute, it's so simple. Does it actually even work? And it's like, well, yeah, there's, 10 to 12 academic papers that have been